amazingly complex and incomprehensible until you actually have that model. So much of what we need to do, I think, in life in general and as students, is we have to be very, very deliberate when it comes to the models we choose. Oftentimes, our models are handed to us and we unconsciously adopt them. I'm saying we ought to think about the models that we're actually using. And let me give you an example of what I mean by deliberately choosing your models. So I was doing a 3-day leadership workshop for 20 company presidents in upstate New York. And on day 1, I posed this statement to them. And it says, if you trust people, they can be trusted. If you don't, they can't. I said, I want you to think about this for a few moments, and then tell me what you think. So I did. They reflected on it, and for the most part, about half of them said, yeah, I can see it, but they didn't really buy it. And then the other half were like, yeah, I don't think I really buy that. And then there was one president, I'll never forget, he just said, Dave, that's a bunch of crap. Right? He goes, yeah, you cannot trust anyone in my organization. If you start trusting them, they will rob you blind. And he's just screaming at me. And I was like, really? He goes, I've been robbed before. And it was like, end of discussion, right? And I was like, you know when to quit, right? If you've been in the consulting world for a while, there's nothing I can say. It's like, hey, good luck with that, right? Yeah, set up more cameras. Yeah, and hire people to monitor them 24 hours a day, right? As they're driving in, driving out, and so forth. And so I was with them for 3 days. On that last day, the guy came up to me and said, Dave, I have not slept during these 3 days. I can't stop thinking about your stupid statement. And I said, so what's bothering you? And he says, I don't know. I'm thinking maybe I ought to trust them. And I said, so are you thinking about it, or are you actually going to do it? And he goes, yeah, I'm actually going to do it. What do you think happened? No, I'm asking. I have no idea. Does anyone know? No. So the crazy thing is, I did lose contact with the guy. He promised me he was going to do it, and it would be so cool to be able to just tell you, yeah, this is what he did, and this is what happened. But here's what I will tell you. There's absolutely no doubt in my mind that if he actually trusted his people in both thought and action, he would have transformed his organization. And here's what else I can tell you. It couldn't have been worse, because it was clear he hated his employees. And they hated him. Right? That is not the dynamic you want. That's not the model you want to create for members of your organization. Right? So the models we choose, affect what we're going to do with our employees and how they're going to act towards us in return. Does that make sense? Yeah, powerful stuff, and it is all about models. But yet sometimes, we get overwhelmed, right? And has this ever happened to you? And maybe I'm the only one. And it would be good if I'm the only one that this has ever happened to. I've woken up in the morning, and I'd sit there, start to have breakfast, and end up just staring at the wall, just like overwhelmed. I mean, there's just so much going on in my life that I don't even know what to do. I don't even know how to act, right? What should I do first? Right? I mean, it's overwhelming sometime when we're in this position. And so I think we sometimes need, because of the overwhelming complexity of our lives, every one of us, with all our stories and everything we need to do in a given day, sometimes simplicity beats complexity. And if we have something simple that we can look at, it will make all the difference. And so I want to share with you something. So this is something, and bear in mind, we are actually, I love this place, as you can probably tell by my little emotional outburst earlier, right? I'm inspired by you every day, and I wanted to do something kind of special for you all. So this is a very, very short book on a simple model of life in this amazingly simple world. And so we're going to walk through it. It's only like 25 pages or so, and it's illustrated. You see Dr. DeForest's name? So she did the artwork for this, but this is going to piss her off, a little bit, because I think everyone ought to shake her hand sometime during the symposium, because being able to tell your grandkids that you shook Dr. DeForest's hand may end up being a good thing, because she is a truly amazing artist. Now this, she's doing one very small aspect, but she does all these paintings, and I'm honestly not that into art, and I don't understand art, but sometimes I look at art, I'm like, wow, that kind of moves me. Her work moves me. And so if you go to Amazon and you look up this book, you can actually click on her name, and she has this little children's book that's out there. And you can see inside, and it's called Fish Dish. And even, this little Kindle thing, the artwork is amazing. And you go to her house, and amazing art everywhere. So I think she's going to be a superstar, and it's so cool that she's here with us now. And so we're going to go through this. Oh, and before, so I know strange people, I guess, and maybe it's because I'm actually pretty strange myself. If you hadn't noticed, but I stopped trying to hide the fact that I'm a little weird. So I have a very good friend that's a Tibetan monk. Wears the orange robes and all that. Was ordained by the Dalai Lama. Her brother is Robert Kiyosaki. Some of you may know that name. He's the one that wrote Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and like 20 other books, and he sold like 20 million copies internationally. He sells out Madison Square Garden. That's my friend's brother. They couldn't be, more different, right? The brother and the sister. Well, I was talking to her as I was working on this book, and she said, hey, I was just talking to Robert the other day, and he said, the world has changed. People no longer have time to read a 200-page book. We'd like to, everyone wants to, but we just don't have time. So we have to come up with different models. And she says, your little book, it's exactly what Robert had in mind. So, and without knowing, we kind of came up with it. And so I want you, as we go through this, to just kind of reflect on it. And you'll see what we wrote here. Right, so I'm going to look at this. When we struggle with our relationships, I'll let you read it. Everyone have a chance? Were you able to read it? Yeah, okay. So that was from the preface, right? So instead of a 30-page preface, yeah, we had 2 sentences. And so here it is. I found myself standing in an endless line, one of many. And just, try and visualize, all of a sudden, the world has changed, and you're just in this line. And I love the artwork because it's so minimalist. All the other distractions, gone. This is your world. Could not see the beginning of the line or its end. When I looked to my right, the number of lines was endless. When I looked to my left, the same thing, an endless number of lines. Some of the lines moved a little more quickly than others. I had no idea what I was in line for. I asked people around me what the line was for, and they didn't know. Somehow, it was clear to me that I couldn't leave the line. It's kind of like a children's book for adults. For a long while, just moved along in silence, wondering where the line was headed. Over time, I started to talk with those around me. The most obvious topic of discussion was the line. We didn't understand it, and understanding wasn't going to miraculously appear. So we talked about other things, mundane things, about life and living. Some people laughed, others we cried. Both were contagious. It was strange to watch a wave of laughter sweep through and across lines. The same with tears. It was like we were all connected in ways I never noticed before. Beyond the lines, there's much more distance, both physically and psychologically. And I can feel it when I look at Dr. Koris's visuals. In the line, both the distances were nearly gone. How will you be in the line? What will you do in the line? And then this actually in the book, so that actually is the end of the book, but then there's an afterword. And here's the slide from the afterword. It's all a line. We're all in it together, right? And it's so easy to lose track of that when we're pulled in 1,000 different directions. And so sometimes just looking at the simplicity of a simple model like this can have a huge impact. And so we have two aspirations for this little model. So we hope that it lives and grows, that people share it, and it has a positive impact on people. And my biggest hope is it has a positive impact on people. And here's what I mean by positive impact on people. Anyone here from Jersey? No, I'm the only couple. All right, so this is kind of for you. At least you can validate it. But I think I'm older than the Jersey people here. So growing up in New Jersey in the 1970s and 1980s, and learning to drive, right? So I learned to drive. Anyone know what they call road rage in New Jersey? Yeah, and road rage in New Jersey, you know what it's called? Yeah, it's Thursday. We call it Thursday, and Friday, and Saturday, and Sunday. It's just normal driving, right? So I grew up, driving in New Jersey amazingly aggressively, right? The idea of driving was to go from point A to point B. Everyone else on the road, there were obstacles for me to overcome. So you just zoom past, you cut people off, someone cuts you off, you beat the horn, flip them off, and then you cut them off again, right? So that's the way I grew up with, right? And it's kind of not in my nature, but that's the way that's the model I had of driving. That's who I was. So over the years, I haven't been back to New Jersey since, like, except for maybe a week or so here and there. I left in 1983. And yet here I am, I'm in Colorado now, and every now and then, I'm driving along, and New Jersey comes out. I'm driving along the highway, minding my own business, going along, trying to be even at the speed limit, not even aggressively, and then someone cuts me off, right? And immediately, blood pressure through the roof, and I start to roll down the window, to give him the finger, and lay on the horn and say, I'll show you, right? And just start doing it. And then all of a sudden, I promise you I do this, I'm not making it up. I'd say, what would I do in the line? And to me, it's a visual of simplicity and just people all in it together, trying to do the best we can, right? And all the noise is gone. And immediately, I slow down. I calm down. I give the person a little more distance. And for at least a few moments, just a few moments, I wish I could say otherwise, I become a better person. And if everyone did that, wouldn't that be cool? Right? So that's what we're really, really hoping for with this model.